You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I can do those things because I'm not a hero. I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be.
They'll hunt you.
You'll hunt me. You'll condemn me. Set the dogs on me. Because that's what needs to happen. Because sometimes the truth isn't good enough. Sometimes people deserve more. Sometimes people deserve to have their faith rewarded.
Hey, my brothers. I'm back again. And, I just want to get this off my chest because I was thinking about this last night. So, since I'm up in the morning, I decided to go ahead and record this. Now, I was talking to the code breakers maybe late last week. In fact, I think it was Sunday I was talking to the code breakers, and one of the things they said they don't like about this particular space is because it's predictable. It's predictable in the sense that the patterns that are normal for black people to actually show up in this space. So we are who we are, right? And a lot of back and forth that goes on, a lot of the sniping that goes on, a lot of the uncool things that go on in this space, right? How you're attacked and doxxed and a whole bunch of other stuff. And our latest victim is Kevin. But Kevin is by no means the only one, right? Because, it's happening to Kevin because Kevin is blown up. Things happened to me when I had less than 100 subs. Really, I had people doing similar things to me on the low when I had less than 100 subs. And it just got worse as I got more subs. In fact, I noticed that people get mad and are angry at me for stuff that I've never even done, like the term master teacher. And I can't tell you how many people I've had come to me and said, "You ain't no master teacher." And I always say I've never called myself master teacher. In fact, that happened on Art of Idmore just recently, where this dude, I think it's Village Arsonist, that just came in and on a humbug, man, just came in on one. And it talked about me being master teacher and says, you never a master teacher. I said, okay. I said, for all the people here that are on board with me, that been with me for a while, when did I ever call myself that? And they all said never. And then he got mad at being wrong about that, and he started going in on a whole bunch of other stuff. But that's common in this space. That's common, that beef and drama is so entertaining. And so it's a wonder. And well, it doesn't surprise me because we are autocratic people. We are matriarchal people, and we have ways just like our women. So instead of acting like our fathers, we act like our mothers. Because if you look at ratchet TV or TV period, women aren't happy unless there's some drama going on. But that being said, let me get into what I really want to talk about, right? So I'm talking to the code breakers, and they're talking about what's going on here in this sphere and how predictable our actions are, not as an individual, but as a group. And the patterns that go on inside the black manosphere is similar to the patterns that go on and that's been going on in the broader black community for centuries, not just years or decades, but centuries. And it got me to thinking about what's going on with Kevin. And Kevin finally breaking through, finding popular success. Now, on the white side, they understand that Kevin's success is due as much to luck as it is to skill. On social media, it's just like music or any other popular genre, right? Who knows why you catch on and you get the zeitgeist and nobody else does? Or somebody that is equally talented or even more talented doesn't. It's basically chance. It's random chance. Was Kevin prepared to take advantage of his chance, take advantage of his opportunity? Yes, he was, which is kudos to him. And by no means would I even denigrate, his effort and his hard work and his preparation. Because without it, this chance would have come and gone. He would have never taken advantage of it. So kudos to him. But it got me to thinking about the reaction to him getting to that spot. And people that were cool with him, that sat in with him as we're all learning this stuff, are now the people that are, some people, I'm not saying all, some people are now upset And it brought back to something I learned early on, man, when I was, hell, a teenager, a preteen, actually, that the old folks used to talk about, and it's the crabs in the bucket mentality. Now, I know what it is, and every black person knows what it is, because I'm sure that at some point, some old person or some person that heard it from an old person has passed down this information to you. But the formal definition is, I read it on Wikipedia. Shout out to Wikipedia, Google's your friend. Where it comes from is that people notice that if you put one crab in a bucket, eventually the crab will figure its way out. You claw its way out, claw and escape from the bucket. But if you put a bunch of crabs in the bucket at the same time, they will actually prevent any one of the members from crawling out of the bucket, even though they could crawl out one by one, even though individually they could make their way out. But because of the pattern, because of their socialization as crabs, the one that does find its way out, does find its way to the point of escape, its fellow members, its brothers will pull them back. And as much as we had hoped that the manosphere, through all the talks, throughout all the education, throughout all the arguments going back and forth as we educated ourselves to a higher level, that these patterns wouldn't show back up, but yet they do. And Kevin Samuels is just the latest example of this crabs in the bucket mentality. Not that he's doing it, but the thing is, he is a victim of it. We're all trying to get out of the bucket at the same time, knowing that we can't. But the fact that he's out of the bucket or close to getting out of the bucket, he's on the edge of getting out of the bucket. Everybody's reaching up trying to pull him back. Why? Because we don't trust that he's going to throw a rope back over so that we may climb out of the bucket if we have the ability to. And everybody doesn't have the ability to get out of this so-called YouTube bucket and become popular. Nobody has a magic formula. If there were a formula to get to 1 million subscribers, trust and believe, somewhere, somehow, somebody would have written on it and gave you the formula of how to convince 1 million people to subscribe to your channel. Hell, I think most people are still looking for that. But it's just funny how this pattern, or these patterns, because they were talking about that back in slavery, when a bunch of black folks were getting ready to escape, but one black person was getting ready to escape and somebody would tell on him. That's how most slaves got caught. We wind up missing, and somebody that's within the ranks would tell on him. And then that's how master would know that he's gone and where to look for him. And that pattern is still with us, probably passed down by the females, which normally this kind of information is, because our women do transmit culture, and what our women think and what our women want usually reflects itself in this culture. So I am not surprised at what's going on about the doxing, the attacks, the name calling, everything from he's gay, he shouldn't be the representative of the manosphere, even though the manosphere is not a club. It's not an organization. Everybody keeps wanting this to be an organization where we charge a membership. Everybody wants this to be a gang. As Green Gorilla was saying, this is not a gang. This is not a club. This is not an organization. This is a virtual common ground where people can come in and talk and exchange ideas. That's what it's for. That's the beauty of this space. That's the beauty of the virtual space of the manosphere altogether, where people agree to come together and exchange ideas. That's why 99% of the manosphere is anonymous. Now, I can't tell you, man, this has gone on since the first 3-4 months that I've been online. That was actually a content creator. Is that people wanted me to, just show your face. Like this, which just baffles me. It's like 99% of the people that really don't show their face and don't care to. Does it matter? People get so wrapped up in who you are and what you look like, what your life is about. It's like, this is not one of those reality shows where you get to follow me around in my daily life. Personally, I always say that it's not about who I am, it's about the ideas. It's what does it matter? I mean, you should say this all the time. What does it matter what I do? What does it matter where I am? If the information that I'm giving to people for free is valuable and they use it and it helps them, I could be homeless collecting cans in a tent with a smartphone. What does it matter to you? In fact, it probably would be a better story if I was in a tent collecting cans with a smartphone. I probably would have 1,000,000 subs because it would be an extraordinary story. But the fact that in this space, it's just funny in this space, man. You don't really see it with females as much, which boggles my mind. That even if it's the truth, especially if it's the truth, that you have males that will come in and try to pull you down, which is why originally I never wanted my sub count to get over 500. I didn't, because I knew what came with it, and that's just 500 subs. Because I knew if I got over 500, I knew what was going to come with it, because I was already getting it with less than 500. I would say that this pattern has to stop. It has to die with us, but I know that it won't, which is why the code breakers that had said that they could basically set their watch by what was going to happen. The same thing happened with the ADOS movement, crabs in a barrel. They didn't want Tone and Yvette to have all the praise for ADOS or the ADOS movement. Instead of focusing in on what the mission was, what the cause was, and getting behind it to get things done, they focused in on the personalities. They focused in on what it should be called. They focused in on who's following who and who should get the attention, or who should get the money. And now when it's disintegrated to virtually nothing, nobody really talks about it, because there's nobody to shoot at. There's nobody to bring down, which is why I knew the reparations movement was probably going to fail. It's a shadow of its former self. That's why they don't really talk about it anymore, because the movement, the momentum that had been gathered on a particular name basically didn't get attacked from the outside, got attacked from the inside, and all people on the outside had to do was sit back and wait. The exact same thing has happened to Kevin. Kevin's smart enough to network away from the core, because in his core he knew he was going to get attacked and knew that people were going to try to drag him back. And just like you could set your watch to it, look what's going on. People are making content about who is he, why is it him that represents the manosphere, it's not a good look, what is he talking about? Even though, from my estimation, everything that Kevin said is 100% faithful to the red pill, even down to marriage. There are plenty of people that are in the red pill community that are married. Yes, YSPM, most of them are married. They're not single people. Did they marry black women? No. But most of them are married. Lots of people in the manosphere are married. And lots of people in the manosphere do want to get married to proper women. So he has not violated the red pill code. He hasn't. Which is why the white people, the white men on the other side, can't go after him, because he's not violated the red pill code. He hasn't. That's how come the question that doesn't even come up is he red pill? Because obviously the women think he is, because the women flabbergasted about the message. They're so angry they don't know what to do. So it's not about that. It's really not about his message. All this other stuff is, why is he blowing up? Why is he successful? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Everybody wants to talk about the portion they put in the stew, right? I can tell you a lot of stuff that Kevin says, it originated with me. So what? And every time I come up with a concept, I feed it to him, because I want him to use it. Why? Because it's not about clout. It's not about a name. It's not about recognition. It's about the mission. Do you care about the mission? What are we here for? Are we here just to pound our chest and say, look at me? Or is it about the mission? And the mission is to get our voice and these ideas out there into mainstream. And hopefully, if that is the case, we can get some things changed and some things done. We are not crabs, we are men. And men have logical, rational thoughts, and they can overcome their base nature. What's happening to Kevin is about the base nature. It has nothing to do with rational, logical thought. It's not even about money, because there's people that have never been in the manosphere, male and female, that are making a grip of money off of riding on Kevin's content. A grip of money riding on Kevin's content. Figuring out ways to ride his wave, actually flow in his wake. So it's not about money. It's about following that age-old pattern. I remember I was reading Carolyn Mace, and she says, even though you don't think so, as elevated as you think you are, your culture has you by the short hairs. And it does. And it's on display here. And so when people bring it up to me and they talk about this and they talk about black folks, and how what black folks do and the stuff that black folks continue to do. I can't even debate it. I can't even argue with it because it's true, and we do it constantly, time after time after time after time after time. And we complain when it's done to us and then turn around and do it to somebody else. I'm just saying. But anyway, this wasn't supposed to be a long ramble. In fact, I'm just shaking my head that one day either my people will get it together or not be. And the odds on the not being are pretty good, male and female. But with that, I'm going to jump over here. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.